Hello and welcome back to Animate. I have my scene with my robot. The robot moves in, and then something we're not seeing yet is I'm going to eventually add a radio to this side that the robot's going to interact with, and it's going to say, "Hello, friend," to that radio. So I need to make my robot speak. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the robot head, because here I have my robot mouth, and I've already turned it into a symbol. I'm going to double click that to go into the mouth symbol. So I'm in the mouth symbol, inside of the head, inside of the scene. So what I'm going to do inside of the mouth symbol is create what I call a mouth shape library. So I want to think my robot's going to say, "Hello, friend." When I say "hello, friend" myself, I find that I have my mouth for basically maybe starting out closed, but then "hello," it's basically two shapes I need. One for the first part of the word where my mouth is kind of open and stretched out, and the other where it's just a circle. And then friends, friend, I have my mouth fairly wide open. So to do this bit of dialogue, I'm going to need three mouth shapes in addition to my closed mouth, which is right here. So what I'm going to do is make those mouth shapes on separate frames here. What I'm going to do is make after my first frame, which is the closed mouth, I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. I'm going to turn on my onion skinning so I can see where my mouth was. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool. Going to make the fill color black and also the stroke color black. And because it's a robot, the mouth is maybe just to make it different, I'm going to make the fill color. We'll make it red. And I'm going to check on going to click on that rectangle. I'm going to go to my tool options here and see what we have. I have a stroke of 17. I'm going to make that stroke 10. So it'll be kind of a box for the mouth. The frame 2 is the hello that's kind of stretched out a little bit like that. So there's my mouth for the first part of the word hello. I'm going to make another frame here, another blank keyframe. Going to use the circle or the oval tool to create the one for the end of hello. So I've got my onion skin, so I can just do that. And then the friend, that's your mouth opens quite a bit for that. So I'm going to go back to the rectangle tool and draw a nice big rectangle for that. Okay, so I got some shapes to go with those words. I'm going to turn off the onion skinning so I can really see it there. Kind of looks like my robot's already starting to talk. Going to go back to the robot head here. And so notice what you notice right away is because that a symbol automatically loops is our robots just speaking over and over again, kind of a little out of control. What I'm going to do is go to my keyframe. I only have one keyframe at the beginning of the mouth layer. I'm going to click on the mouth, and I'm going to go down here and try to find the looping section. So the looping section is here. And what I want my mouth to do is I want it to basically stay in this position until I want to change it. So I'm going to look at these different options here. So I just want to do this third one, to play the single frame for the graphic. Okay, and so now you're going to see my mouth just stays closed, and then now when it's ready to talk, I will change between those different mouth shapes. First, I'm going to go back to my scene, though, and see what's going on there. So my robot moves in, and then somewhere around here, it kind of moves its hand up, and that's where it says, "Hello, friend." So right around here, that's around frame 35. If I double-click on my head, I'll be going into the head layer at that same frame 35. I'm going to make a new layer right above mouth. I'm going to call this dialogue. Oops. Call it dialogue, and I'm going to make a keyframe, basically a blank keyframe, right there on that frame 35. So I'm going to right-click there, insert a blank keyframe. Now I've already recorded my robot's voice, which I did with my voice, and I saved it in my documents folder. Just recorded it with Adobe Audition, but if you have another way to record it, that's great. So I'm going to just import it into the library, and there it is. Hello, friend, robot. I'm going to open that. Now here it is in my library. I'm going to click on it. So what I'm going to do is now drag it into the canvas, and then that'll add it right after this keyframe. So I'm going to drag it in here. Okay, so now you can even see the audio waveform in the timeline, and if you click and drag, you'll be able to hear it. You may need to click on it here and set the sync to stream, and then you'll be able to kind of scrub through it and hear it. So I don't think I have the audio turned on, so you can't really hear it, but I'm going to be able to hear it really slow. But I have this waveform where I can see where the words start. This is the first shape here, this is the O at the end, and this is friend in here. I'm going to just click where my voice starts saying hello friend. I'm going to go ahead and add a keyframe. I'm going to click on my mouth layer, going to go into the properties window. So into the looping section, I have this frame picker. I can set that to frame 2, which is that next shape. But also, there's this little option called lip syncing that brings up a window that shows, will show my different, basically will allow me to set different sounds to go with the different shapes I made. Because I just have 3 frames, I don't have to do that. But you can see the neutral mouth, the ah, all these different sounds. I can set them so I can get one of my shapes to go with ah, for example. Maybe that actually needs to be the big one. And so I can set all these forms to it, and then if I go through it, it'll automatically sync it up. I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the tedious old-fashioned way. So I have this. At this point, I'm going to go to my O sound. So I'm going to insert a keyframe, click on the mouth, turn the frame picker to 3. So I also have this little frame picker box that allows me to see all my shapes right there. And then friend, I'm going to set a keyframe. I still have that frame picker. Here's the big wide open one. And then when friend stops, which is like right here, I'm going to insert a keyframe, just put in that keyframe, and set it back in my neutral mouth. And so now my robot is going to talk. Okay, and it's synced up. Maybe I'll even make this one. I can click on this keyframe just to drag it a little this way so that mouth closes there. So I have my robot speaking. If I go back to the scene, it should just enter. I don't hear the sound, so I have to actually add it to this sequence as well. Just going to do that. So dialogue. And it started at frame 35. If I'm not sure, I can just double click on my head, go to that frame, go back here to the scene, and then make a keyframe there. And then just going to close the frame picker and just drag this in. Now to really make my dialogue work, I might have to nod my head a little bit. My head might move around. So I'm going to go to the robot head layer. I'm going to make a keyframe. Insert that keyframe by right-clicking or control-clicking. Going to get the free transform tool. May nod the head down when it says hello. And then when it says friend, going to insert a keyframe. And then it's going to go back a little bit. And then when it's done, it's going to go back and straight. So back to a regular keyframe and just rotate it back to its normal position or something like that. So it actually has a little bit of head movement as it talks, which helps to sell that action and that dialogue even more. So that's adding some dialogue to our animation.